orientation that I think is very complementary to ASEAN.
One of the really hard things for the countries in this region is that although in theory they would be able to negotiate, for example, with the United States much more strongly if they held together, the new US approach is very much, we'll only negotiate with countries one by one. How can countries in the rest of the world who want to diversify and sustain cooperation, how can they balance the need to line up and do one-by-one deals with the US administration with the need to actually forge relations in their own region with other regions? I mean, it feels like, you know, you've been a bit of an example for European leaders in how to do that, how to sit calmly and negotiate in the White House, but at the same time, you're here, you're pursuing those other kinds of deals. But I just wondered, what's your observation on this for countries in ASEAN who are being pushed to do the one-to-one deal, but who actually need to think about their other trade partners?
Well, I think there's a couple of things, and with respect to the European Union, of course, President Costa is here as well, also participated as a partner of ASEAN in the meetings this morning and through tomorrow. And that'll bring me to a point I'll make in a second. I think a few general points about the situation with respect to the United States. The United States has a new trade policy. It applies to every country, every jurisdiction in the world. We understand that and we respect that. It is a major shift, and the way we're framing it is it's a rupture, not a transition. This is a very big change, almost overnight, and therefore it's difficult to deal with. It can be difficult to deal with, but everybody's dealing with it. That's the first. The second is, if your economy is highly integrated, or certain sectors are highly integrated with the United States, revealed preference, to use a fancy term, is that you will pay a price to keeping access to that market, either in the form of tariffs, changes to some domestic policies, commitments for investment. Different countries have done various versions of that. What you should try to avoid doing, though, is tying your hands about what you can do with other jurisdictions. Because there are a lot more countries by GDP that are willing and keen to continue to have relatively open trade, certainly to have rules-based trade, to respect rules-based trades, to have that is happening in parallel to these sharper changes. So you get a sharp change in the relationship with the U.S. As the President has said, and I understand this and respect it, he said it, me sitting next to him, we are going to charge countries for access to the U.S. It's like access to a good country club, I think he might have said, or Costco. To put it the other way, I think he thinks more on country club than Costco. We understand it. It is the premium market. It's the most dynamic economy. You decide what you're willing to pay, but at the same time, you want to be in other clubs. You want to be at other tables. You want to be building that out. And I said I would make a point about the European Union. I think it's quite relevant for ASEAN, or if I may broaden it a bit more towards CPTPP, some members are part of that. These are two large trading blocs with not identical, but complementary approaches to trade. And there is an opportunity. It's a point I've made. It's a point some others in CPTPP have made. There is a possibility of bringing those closer together, having at a minimum a docking between the two blocks or broader arrangements that there. And that's how you start to rebuild a broader global trading system. You're approaching more than a third of global trade there, potentially 40%, depending on how you do it. Provided you have you've retained that flexibility in order to do that. And as things stand right now, most countries have.
So is this a sort of short-term, medium-term, long-term thing? In the short term, are we going to see countries doing a lot of deals with the United States, but in the medium term, needing reliable partners? If you're going to reorganize your whole economy for trade, you need reliable partners. Yeah. So in the medium term, do you think we're going to see a world which trades a little less with the United States and a little more with within regions and between regions?
I think the short answer is yes. I think as well there would be a natural. It's at a minimum it's an acceleration of a trend that the weight of economic activity and dynamism would drive as well. I mean, this is we're in one of the most, arguably the most dynamic regions in the world, and naturally more trade is going to flow to here. I'll give you another example. Just the very fact that one of the themes of this presidency is sustainability. And there's an understanding that moving towards lower carbon energy, lower carbon manufacturing, lower carbon services, etc., will be a driver of competitiveness. It's good for the planet, but it's a driver of competitiveness. There's an understanding of that. And it's not just a theme, but a lot of the discussions are around how do we build that out. That is not a priority at present in the United States, or at least it's not an administration priority in the United States. So naturally trade is going to shift away by definition. The other reason is from the U.S. for a period of time on that. It's also shifting because it's more expensive to trade with the United States. That's what a tariff does. And that will drive some of that as well. But all of that said, the United States is the world's largest. It is the most dynamic economy. It is a source of constant innovation, and everyone, very much Canada included, is going to want to be active there.
And look, you've long championed kind of sustainability in a number of roles, advising the UN, advising prime ministers, etc. Are you optimistic or about the sustainability agenda holding? I mean, the world as I see it, the backtracking of the United States has led a lot of companies to say, actually, let's slow down on the sustainability stuff. Let's slow down on the net zero stuff. Are you seeing that? Is it harder to be an advocate for net zero?
Well, I've got a different job now, which is to advocate for Canada and to manage for Canada. What I think you're seeing is, and this is in terms of our approach, you're seeing a sharp move towards performance over targets, investment and action over sort of prohibition. So in other words, and I'll give example on that, which is I referenced earlier Canadian LNG and the opportunity that's there. If we went back 5 years, there would have been a greater focus on leapfrogging from coal in the region to solar and storage, particularly. There's probably more of that that transition is going to be with gas for a period of time. Not all, there will be a number that do leapfrog. So that's an example, but that's a material reduction in emissions. It's a different route to it. Carbon capture. Let me give one other example. Canada has just under 12% of the global capacity in carbon capture, a huge number. One of the I referenced about $500 billion of investments over the course of the next 5 years. Part of that will be in major carbon capture to decarbonize our exports of oil, decarbonizing Scope 1, Scope 2. To be clear, you can't decarbonize Scope 3. Again, that's performance, and that's investment for emission reduction. So that's a shift. If I can make one last point, which is something coming out of the region, Singapore, Malaysia, and others have been amongst the leaders here, which is actually tracking the emissions of goods and soon services, so it's going to be clearer where that performance is.
So you mentioned there that it's one thing to be an advisor on sustainability, it's another thing to become Prime Minister for all Canadians, including those who are in the energy sector. What surprised you about becoming Prime Minister? I mean, there's not that many Prime Ministers in this room. What was the surprise?
What was the surprise? It doesn't end. There's an insight. Well, it does end, actually. I shouldn't say that. When you say it doesn't end, that's just before it ends, actually. But I meant more from a 24/7 perspective. What's the most surprising thing? I think I'll give the most positive surprise, is that you have access to unlimited resources for an issue, so that and it doesn't matter what the issue is, the only thing that's holding you back is lack of imagination and to some degree time, but people will help their government. People will pick up the phone. They will respond to your inquiry. Your officials will be able to get the information, and that is a big advantage. The only caveat to that, you and I know, and many of us in the room have lived through crises. In a crisis, you're never going to have perfect information. You have to know when you've done enough in order to take a decision with imperfect information. But you do have the privilege of, in these roles, of being able to draw on the resources of your country, including the intellectual resources of the country, and it's important to do so.
And look, last question, and it's a big one. But you're an economist. You've been chair of the Financial Stability Board. You've navigated now both financial crises and trade crises. Where do you see the global economy in 5 years' time, or over the next 5 years? Are there big things you think are going to change?
Well, I think it's. I will quote our host, our ultimate host, the Prime Minister this morning, which is words to the effect of the old world or the old system is gone, the new one has not yet formed, and so it's a big question, and it's an important question because, in many respects, those of us in this room will help determine where that is, and what we were talking about earlier is Canada free trade with ASEAN. CPTPP with EU, that link becoming there, following through on the inclusivity and sustainability. The extent to which we actually follow that through, this room, literally and metaphorically, will help determine the direction of the global economy, or a substantial proportion of the global economy. And because it's ASEAN, because it's dynamic, because it's forward-looking, because it's young, that sort of shows where the world is going, and so I think it can be incredibly influential. And we're out of time.
Thank you, Prime Minister Mark Carney. Do join me in a huge round of thanks for Mark.
On inclusivity, meaningful reform.
Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, the Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia.
ค
Terima kasih.
Japan to proceed to the stage for a group photo session. Thank you.
Of you. And thank you for being present. I know you are busy welcoming President Trump tomorrow, but Japan, of course, plays importance to ASEAN, and we are appreciative of this. You have to fly back late tonight, and we wish you well in this bilateral meeting with the United States. ASEAN and Japan have long been collaborating in trade, investments, and we look forward to enhancing this with you. And now it is my pleasure to invite the Excellency, Takeichi Sanae, Prime Minister of Japan, to deliver your opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I would like to express my deep condolences to the passing of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit of Thailand. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to Prime Minister Anwar and the government of Malaysia for their efforts and warm welcome at the ASEAN Chair. My gratitude goes to Prime Minister Wong of Singapore as well for his kind cooperation as the country coordinator for ASEAN-Japan. I would also like to congratulate Prime Minister Gusmão on Timor-Leste's official accession to ASEAN. It is an honor for me to meet you as leaders on my first foreign visit as Prime Minister of Japan. Japan and ASEAN have built a relationship as trusted partners with heart-to-heart connections through long-standing cooperation in a wide range of areas. Japan advocates for free and open Indo-Pacific and consistently support the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific, which shares fundamental principles with FOIP. It is very gratifying to be able to adopt a joint statement with the ASEAN leaders today, which affirms the synergy between FOIP and AOIP and confirm our way to promote further cooperation between Japan and ASEAN. Next year marks the 10th anniversary since the Prime Minister Abe launched FOIP in 2016. We will use this opportunity to reposition FOIP as a pillar of Japanese diplomacy and evolve it in line with change in the times. We would like to further strengthen our collaboration with AOIP to make Japan and ASEAN stronger and more prosperous. So allow me to speak in Japanese and continue my statement for saving time. Okay? 2023年の日本 ASEAN 友好協力50周年の共同ビジョン声明で打ち出した3本柱に沿って協力の進展を皆様に共有します。Are you ready? Thank you. 第一に、平和と安定のためのパートナーに関し、日本は ODA を通じて ASEAN 海洋安全保障の強化を後押ししてきました。さらにこの地域の平和と安定に一層貢献するため、2年前、政府安全保障能力強化支援 OSA を創設し、一部の国との協力を始めております。OSA を他の ASEAN 諸国にも拡大し、海洋安全保障に加え、災害対処等の分野の協力も力強く推進します。また、日 ASEAN サイバーセキュリティ協力に関する政策会議や能力構築センターを通じた取り組み、組織的詐欺を含む越境犯罪対策に関する協力も強化していきます。第2に、未来の経済社会を競争するパートナーについて、AI を含むデジタル、脱炭素化や持続可能な農林水産業を含むグリーン、自動車分野を含むサプライチェーンの強靭化、連結性、地域、金融協力をはじめ幅広い分野で協力を強化していきます。特に AI は経済社会を大きく変革して発展させる可能性があります。ここに日本は新たに日 ASEAN AI 競争イニシアティブの立ち上げを提案いたします。モデル開発、人材育成、ソリューションの競争などを通じ、安全・安心で信頼できる AI エコシステムを共に構築していきたいと思います。AI、量子、半導体等の最先端分野で、国際共同研究や研究者の交流を強化していきます。また、頻繁化、激甚化する災害対応や、人道支援のため、引き続き ASEAN 防災人道支援調整センターの活動や人材育成を支援していきます。また、ASEAN 感染症対策センターの設立と能力強化を支援するため、専門家を派遣中でございます。最後に世代を超えた、心と心のパートナーについても、日本は幅広い分野で次世代の、担い手の育成に努めています。約3000名の実績を持つ日本語パートナーズ派遣や文化、知的交流事業等からなる文化の輪を着実かつ効率的に推進いたします。来年度50回を迎える東南アジア青年の船や、ジェネシス、などの事業による青年交流、元日本留学生会による留学生交流も活発に行われています。日 ASEAN 統合基金でASEAN 事務局に若手行政官を派遣するアタッチメントプログラムは今年東ティモールからの参加者の受け入れを開始しました。また同プログラムの修了生を対象に日本の政策研究大学院大学への留学を支援する授業も開始しています。皆様と緊密に連携してこれまでの日 ASEAN 協力を一層発展させ、日本と ASEAN ともに強く豊かになるための取り組みを進めていきます。そして ASEAN とともにインド太平洋地域の平和、安定、繁栄を守り抜いていきたいと考えております。Thank you, Mr. Chair.
ありがとうございます。Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae, and we will now say thank you to the media so that we can proceed with the deliberations at the plenary level. Thank you. The deliberations will focus on two issues to review, after listening to Prime Minister, review ASEAN-Japan dialogue relations and future directions, and of course, other matters. And this appears in document 2, in the document kit. But we will begin, of course.
Strong focus on inclusivity, meaningful reform.
Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, the Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia.
For Malaysia's commitment to deepening ASEAN integration, has been evident through its proactive support. A historic step for the ASEAN family, Malaysia has championed a forward-looking agenda that prioritizes economic resilience, digital innovation and sustainable development, while reinforcing the ASEAN's unity amid the evolving global challenges. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. As the chair, Malaysia will continue to guide ASEAN with wisdom and dedication, fostering stronger partnerships and building a community that is more responsive, cohesive, and future-ready. We warmly welcome Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim to the significant gathering as more conversations to meetings could be established. Now, this high-level gatherings to conversations is not only symbolic of ASEAN's unity itself, but it is a strong demonstration of shared leadership in shaping the region's response to evolving global challenges itself, be it in terms of climate change, to digital transformation, economic resilience. The security cooperation actually remain a key pillar. Renewed commitments to address transnational threats and promote peace in this region. That the summit further enhance ASEAN's participation and partnerships with global players. It reinforces the strategic position on the world stage. This moment would highlight ASEAN's continued commitment to unity in diversity, bringing together member states, institutions, and partners under a common regional vision. Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare the meeting to begin, we'll take this time to thank all of our partners, from line ministers to research bodies, development agencies to sectoral leaders and medias who have worked alongside ASEAN to bring this initiative to life. Today is not an endpoint, but it is a continuation of our journey together, one that places sustainability and inclusivity at its heart. Now, across the past few days, meetings have taken place behind the scenes, with senior officials deliberating over policy alignment to economic strategies and inclusive governance. And what we see is the visible outcome of those tireless efforts, from strengthening cross-border collaboration to supporting future-proof economies. Today's will actually embody the next chapter of ASEAN cooperation. And now arriving, His Excellency Xanana Gusmão, the Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste. This marks a proud milestone as Timor-Leste takes yet another meaningful step towards a full ASEAN membership. We warmly welcome His Excellency Prime Minister Xanana Gusmão of Timor-Leste.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste.
A proud milestone as Timor-Leste takes yet another meaningful step toward full ASEAN membership. Having conversation with Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, the Prime Minister of Malaysia and Chair of ASEAN. Now, Timor-Leste's journey reflects the shared aspirations of Southeast Asia's diverse peoples for peace, to cooperation and shared prosperity. Under Prime Minister Gusmão's leadership, the nation is actively contributing to the strengthening of ASEAN's community-building efforts. We look forward to Timor-Leste's continued engagement and its future as an integral member of ASEAN. Welcome, Timor-Leste. Now, some of the efforts being discussed for the economic integration to regional value chains. Under the ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint 2025, from 2015 to 2024, the ASEAN's GDP actually grew significantly. Intra-regional trade to investment surge and services trade boom. The outcome of it was that ASEAN's connectivity and economic integration is gaining real traction, which Malaysia is helping to steer. And when we talk about regional growth, it's not about numbers, it's about how opportunities flow from one country to the next. Welcome, Timor-Leste. And about a week ago, the 16th of October 2025, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, has formally endorsed the 2026 to 2030 ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation, which aims to raise the share of renewable electricity to 45% and reduce energy intensity by about 40% from 2005 levels. Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of His Excellency Srettha Thavisin, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand. Now, Thailand brings with it a long-standing tradition of diplomacy and is instrumental in regional economic integration,
Announcing the
connectivity,
arrival
sustainable
of His
development.
Excellency, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand.
Warmly welcome His Excellency Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin of the Kingdom of Thailand. Thailand carries a proud legacy of diplomacy, and they are the key driver in advancing ASEAN's regional economic integration, connectivity, and sustainable development initiatives. Under Prime Minister Thavisin's stewardship, Thailand continues to champion efforts that foster inclusive growth, strengthen regional infrastructure, and promoting environmental sustainability across Southeast Asia. We are honored to have Thailand's leadership at this important gathering, further reinforcing ASEAN's unity and shared vision for a prosperous and resilient region. Welcome, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, Prime Minister of the Republic of Singapore.
His Excellency Lee Hsien Loong, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Singapore. Now, Singapore remains a leader in innovation, digital transformation, and ASEAN economic strategy, reinforcing future-ready cooperation across the region. A warm welcome to Your Excellency. As Singapore continuing to be a driving force within ASEAN, they're leading the way in innovation, digital transformation, and regional economic strategy. Its forward-thinking policies and commitment to sustainability help shape ASEAN's vision for a resilient and future-ready community. Now, from one conversations to meetings, as a global financial and technological hub, Singapore plays a vital role in advancing economic integration, fostering smart city initiatives, as well as promoting connectivity that benefits all member states.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia.
His Excellency Dr. Hun Manet, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia, who represents a new generation of leadership in Cambodia, as he is carrying forward the country's strong commitment to ASEAN's values of unity, peace, and regional cooperation. Now, Cambodia has long been an active contributor to ASEAN's development agenda, particularly in the fields of cultural heritage, economic integration, and narrowing the development gap. Under His Excellency Dr. Hun Manet, Cambodia continues to strengthen its role in promoting a stable, inclusive, and connected Southeast Asia. With its visionary of leadership, Cambodia is further strengthening its role in fostering a stable, inclusive, open, and well-connected Southeast Asia. We're honored to have His Excellency join us today as ASEAN continues to build
Announcing the arrival
resilient
of
and
His
prosperous
Excellency,
community.
Prime Minister of the Laos People's Democratic Republic.
And now arriving His Excellency Tariffs, the Prime Minister of the Laos People's Democratic Republic, Laos PDR. Laos has been a vital contributor to ASEAN's vision of a people-centered and inclusive community. Under the leadership of His Excellency, Laos continues to advance the efforts in regional connectivity to sustainable development and narrowing the development gap across ASEAN. As Laos prepares to assume the ASEAN Chairmanship in 2026, His Excellency presence today is a strong signal of cooperation, continuity, and shared ambition for a resilient and forward-looking region. In May this year, ASEAN held a historic summit in Kuala Lumpur with various parties focusing on enhanced economic and trade cooperation amid the global trade tensions. Now, strengthening the ASEAN's external relations through strategic roles, such as the 10+3 senior officials meeting and Laos itself, highlighting the unified ASEAN responses to non-traditional security threats, to digital and aviation safety, climate change, and external partnerships. A very warm welcome to His Excellency.
My experience of those things are generally media very kind, good coverage.
Because you're a good person, sir, that is why.
Try to go over there. Fight first corruption, then religion. It's religion, no only Muslim.
It's everywhere.
Good, Buddhist,
It's everywhere. Unfortunately.
respect.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam.
Now, His Excellency Vo Van Thuong, the President of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. It is a nation central to ASEAN's vision to dynamic growth and regional cooperation. We extend a warm welcome to His Excellency. Now, Vietnam stands as a vibrant and dynamic force within ASEAN, playing a central role in advancing regional growth, cooperation, and sustainable development. Its strategic location and robust economic progress exemplify ASEAN's vision of an integrated and prosperous community. Under President Vo Van Thong's leadership, Vietnam continues to champion initiatives that strengthen connectivity, deepen partnerships, and promote peace and stability across Southeast Asia. We're honored to have Vietnam's continued commitment in shaping ASEAN's future. Welcome, Your Excellency. Now, ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, stands as a powerful testament to regional cooperation and unity amidst diversity. It was founded on principles of mutual respect, peaceful dialogue, and shared prosperity, with ASEAN growing into a dynamic community that champions economic integration, political stability, and cultural exchange across Southeast Asia. In a more rapidly changing world, ASEAN will continue to adapt and innovate.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency Secretary General of the United Nations.
We are deeply honored by the presence of His Excellency Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, who is leading the United Nations with steadfast commitment to peace, multilateralism, to sustainable development. Now, his partnership today reflects a very strong and growing partnership between ASEAN and the UN, rooted in shared principle of dialogue, international cooperation, and mutual respect for the rules-based order. ASEAN deeply values the United Nations' continued support in addressing global challenges, from climate action and conflict prevention to the sustainable development goals. Warm welcome to His Excellency Antonio Guterres. Now, looking ahead, ASEAN is committed to driving forward reforms and initiatives that would ensure that the region will remain future ready.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency Prime Minister of Canada.
The Honourable Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada. Now, his presence today marks a strong reaffirmation of Canada's enduring partnership with ASEAN. Canada itself has long supported ASEAN's vision of a peaceful, inclusive, and rules-based regional order. As a key dialogue partner, Canada continues to collaborate with ASEAN in various areas, such as climate resilience, economic innovation, digital transformation, and people-to-people connectivity. Prime Minister Carney brings with him a wealth of global leadership experience, and his participation today in this summit, signaling Canada's ongoing commitment to deeper cooperation with Southeast Asia. Now, beyond economics, ASEAN serves as a crucial platform for addressing complex regional challenges. It has transformed from a loose association into a cohesive community with far-reaching influence, not only within the region but also on the global stage. It has successfully fostered economic integration through initiatives such as the ASEAN Economic Community to the ASEAN Summit itself, enabling a greater trade, investment and connectivity among member countries. The ASEAN Way, emphasizing consultation, consensus and non-interference. It will continue to be a guiding principle that allows member states to navigate complex regional issues together. With its commitment to regional integration, it has driven economic growth, enabling millions to benefit from expanded markets across border and improved connectivity. Union, long-standing and strategic partner of ASEAN. Now, the EU-ASEAN relationship is built on shared values, sustainability, to human development, and a deep commitment to peace and rules-based international order. As one of ASEAN's earliest dialogue partners, the European Union continues to play a crucial role in advancing regional cooperation through green transition, connectivity, trade, digital innovation. President Costa's presence today reaffirms the EU's commitment to ASEAN centrality and its strategic engagement in the Indo-Pacific. Let us welcome the Honourable President of the European Council as he joins us for this important occasion. Strengthening ASEAN's collective voice as the global stage is enhancing its ability to advocate for rules-based international order, mutual respect and peaceful dispute resolution. With ASEAN strategic partnerships with various countries across the continents, demonstrating its evolving role as the hub for international cooperation and multilateral. Stronger and more inclusive, reflecting the expanding horizons of regional cooperation.
some Portuguese, some Hindi.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, President of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste.
The Honorable Jose Maria Tariffs, the head of government of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste. We warmly welcome the Honorable Jose Maria, representing Timor-Leste, a nation that continues to make meaningful strides in its journey towards full ASEAN membership.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, President of the Republic of Indonesia.
Now, the Honorable Host's participation at the summit signals not just a diplomatic presence, but a growing and enduring partnership that will strengthen the ASEAN's community in the years to come. His Excellency Joko Widodo, the President of the Republic of Indonesia. Now, as the world's third largest democracy and a founding member of ASEAN, Indonesia continues to be a central voice in ASEAN's geopolitical identity and global engagement. Welcome, Your Excellency. Indonesia has consistently played a pivotal role in shaping the strategic direction of the region. With its vast reach to dynamic economy and enduring commitment to multilateralism, Indonesia actually remains a cornerstone of ASEAN's centrality, unity, and international engagement. Championing as ASEAN's collective voice on the global stage, advocated for regional resilience, and reinforced the importance of inclusive development. President Joko Widodo.
We kindly invite the representative of Vietnam to proceed to the stage for a group photo session. Thank you. Excellencies, allow me to count in 3, 2, 1. Excellencies, you're kindly requested to remain on stage for our next event. Honorable ASEAN leaders, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we now arrive at one of the key highlights of today's proceedings, which is the handing over of the second protocol to amend the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, ATIGA. This milestone reaffirms ASEAN's commitment to deeper regional integration through openness and shared prosperity. As a key driver of intra-regional trade and supply chain connectivity, ATIGA's enhancement is timely amid today's challenging global trade landscape. And with that, I wish to invite the Honorable Senator Tengku Datuk Sri Utama Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, the Chair of the AFTA Council, together with His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Horn, Secretary General of ASEAN, to the stage for the handover ceremony and to be witnessed by the ASEAN leaders. May I now invite His Excellency the Honorable Senator Tengku Datuk Sri Utama Zafrul Tunku Abdul Aziz, the Chair of AFTA Council, to hand over the second protocol to amend the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, ATIGA, to His Excellency the Secretary General of ASEAN. Thank you very much, Excellencies. You may kindly take your seats. Honorable ASEAN leaders, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, may I invite the Honorable Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia and Chair of ASEAN, to deliver his opening remarks and proceed with the meeting. With that, Datuk Sri, the floor is yours.
Now, thank you, Your Majesty, Excellencies. We begin the plenary session of the summit. But first, on behalf of my colleagues, let me express our deepest condolences to the ASEAN family on the passing of Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother of Thailand. And thank you, special thanks to Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul for taking the trouble to come here, having to leave again and come back tonight. I mean, only a young man can do that. And welcome again to Excellency Xanana Gusmão, Prime Minister Timor-Leste, to his full-fledged ASEAN Summit today. My pleasure too to welcome guests of the Chair to this plenary session, Right Honourable Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada. We use a very much English tradition of Right Honourable. I don't know why not left. Excellency Antonio Costa, President of the European Council. And our dear Madam Kristalina Georgieva, Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund. Now, our privilege this year is based on the theme inclusivity and sustainability. And it comes at a defining moment as we confront regional challenges, geopolitical uncertainty, and growing geoeconomic fragmentation. Now, we have upgraded ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, ATIGA, and it is certainly a decisive step forward. The signing of ASEAN-China Free Trade Area 3.0 on 28th October will mark a new chapter in our partnership. Beyond ASEAN Plus One framework, we are accelerating the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the world's largest free trade pact. We will host the 5th RCEP Leaders Summit tomorrow to give a new momentum to this implementation. May I now request politely the members of the media to adjourn for tea or coffee. Yes. Please, I don't want the coffee to get cold. Terima kasih.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, President of the Federative Republic of Brazil.
The Honorable Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, President of the Federative Republic of Brazil. We extend a warm and distinguished welcome to President Lula, representing Brazil, a valued global partner and a key voice in the Global South. Brazil's presence today reflects a deepening ASEAN-Latin America engagement, rooted in shared aspirations for climate action, inclusive development, multilateralism, and South-South cooperation. As the largest economy in South America and a leader in global sustainability discourse, Brazil brings a powerful perspective to regional and international collaboration. Under his leadership, especially on social justice, the environment, and global equity, it resonates strongly with ASEAN's priorities. Let us warmly welcome His Excellency as he joins a significant gathering of regional and global leaders.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, President of the Republic of South Africa.
The Honorable Matamala Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa. We are honored to welcome President Ramaphosa, representing South Africa, as a prominent partner in the Global South and a leading voice in promoting inclusive development, peace building, and multilateral cooperation. With South Africa's engagement with ASEAN, it reflects a shared commitment to a rules-based international order, sustainable growth, and South-South collaboration. A key member of the African Union and BRICS, South Africa continues to advocate for balanced global governance and economic equity. President Ramaphosa's leadership in advancing reconciliation to democratic values and economic reform will offer valuable perspective in today's complex global landscape.
Announcing the arrival of His Excellency, President of the Republic of the Philippines and spouse.
The arrival of the Honorable Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Now, as a nation with strategic geographic importance, the Philippines play a very critical role in advancing ASEAN's maritime security agenda, fostering a dialogue on territorial integrity and promoting sustainable use of marine resources. The Honorable Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s leadership will continue to strengthen the country's active engagement in ASEAN's collective efforts.
Of His Majesty, Sultan and Yang di-Pertuan of Brunei Darussalam.
His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkiah Sultan and Yang Di-Pertuan of Brunei Darussalam. A respected voice in ASEAN's journey toward unity, stability, and sustainable development. His Majesty has been a steadfast advocate of ASEAN unity, peace, and moderation. With His Majesty's leadership, Brunei continues to play a pivotal role in shaping ASEAN's direction, particularly in areas of maritime cooperation, socio-economic development, regional stability. With His Majesty's presence, it reaffirms Brunei's enduring commitment to ASEAN's shared vision, a community grounded in mutual respect, regional resilience, and forward-looking cooperation. His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkiah Izzuddin Udaulah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Haji Omar Ali Safruddin Saidul Khairi Wadin Sultan and Yang Di-Pertuan of Brunei Darussalam. As the final dignitaries make their entrance, we thank you for your attention, as these arrivals remind us not only of ASEAN's diversity, but of its shared mission to act as one, to grow together, and to lead with a collective voice in the global arena. Let the day's events now unfold, guided by vision, trust, and enduring spirit of ASEAN cooperation. Now for the institutional reform to future readiness as a nation, ASEAN, there is a shared momentum for the reform, enhancing the efficiency, conversations between leaders, responsiveness, and agility in global affairs. Malaysia's 2025 chairmanship has emphasized reform, inclusion, digital innovation, and strengthening community building.
Distinguished guests, a round of applause as we announce the arrival
For the remarkable
of heads of state and
fight of
government
the
of
ASEAN heads of states
and
and
guests
governments
of the chair.
to conversation is more than a ceremonial entrance. A powerful vision of ASEAN's enduring unity, trust, and shared purpose, reflecting the strength of mutual respect, dialogue, conversation, and the region's commitment to progress together, side by side. Among them are leaders representing over 600 million people, not just as representatives of the nations, but as partners in shaping Southeast Asia's collective future. Their steps today echo ASEAN's founding values: unity in diversity, cooperation over division, and belief that together we are stronger. Now, as they take the seats for the upcoming session, let us take this moment to reflect
Distinguished
on the
guests,
significance
please
of their
rise for the
presence.
ASEAN Anthem. Thank you. Please be seated.
And do join us in giving a warm round of applause to the talented children, singers, and the dedicated choir directors for that truly inspiring performance.
The rendition of the ASEAN Anthem, The ASEAN Way, was proudly presented by the graceful children from the Malaysian Federation of the Deaf and the Young KL Singers.
Your Majesty, Heads of State and Government of ASEAN and Timor-Leste, Heads of State and Government of Guests, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the opening ceremony of the 47th ASEAN Summit, held under the theme of Malaysia's ASEAN Chairmanship for 2025, Inclusivity and Sustainability.
Distinguished guests, we are now privileged to invite the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia and Chair of ASEAN 2025 to deliver his opening address and officiate the 47th ASEAN Summit and related summits.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam sejahtera. Your Majesty, Heads of State, Governments of ASEAN and Timor-Leste, Head of State and Government guests, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the government and the people of Malaysia, I sincerely welcome Your Majesty, ASEAN leaders, guests of the Chair, Secretary General Guterres, EU President, President Brazil, Lula, Ramaphosa of South Africa, Mark Carney of Canada, to join us here in Kuala Lumpur at the 47th ASEAN Summit. When Malaysia assumed the ASEAN Chairmanship, we certainly recognize the magnitude of responsibility before us. Leadership is never a matter of routine. It is a matter of choice to define priorities, to renew ASEAN's sense of purpose, and chart a course worthy of our people's hopes. 2025 is a year that asks and demands more of us. The world feels unsettled, the old order no longer certain, the new one not yet defined. Across regions, we see rising contestation of growing uncertainty. These crosswinds test not only our economies, but our collective resolve to keep faith in cooperation, to believe that understanding and dialogue can still prevail in a divided age. And yet, amid these trials, ASEAN endures. Our strength lies not in conformity, but in the conviction that respect and reason still bind us together. Later this morning, when Cambodia and Thailand signed their peace agreement here in Kuala Lumpur, the world will see that conviction can achieve. It reminds us that reconciliation is not a concession, but an act of courage, and that peace, once chosen, can reshape the future of nations. Thank you, Prime Minister Thailand and Prime Minister Cambodia. The ASEAN Community Vision 2045, adopted here in May, speaks of who we aspire to be and challenges us to make these aspirations real. It calls on us to strengthen ASEAN's unity and centrality, to pursue growth that is both resilient and fair, and to safeguard the welfare of generations to come. Timor-Leste's historic admission into ASEAN today gives new meaning to that vision. Congratulations again to President Ramos Horta, Prime Minister Xanana, Gusmão. Its place here completes the ASEAN family, reaffirming our shared destiny and deep sense of regional kinship. Within this community, Timor-Leste's development and its strategic autonomy will find firm and lasting support. Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished guests, as chair this year, I ought first to recognize the support, understanding of my colleagues, the leaders of ASEAN. Through that, we are able to realign our priorities to keep the association resilient, relevant, and responsive to the times. Together with fellow member states, we have worked to foster the conditions for peace in Myanmar. We know this requires patience and persistence, and an honest appreciation of the realities on the ground. Guided by the 5-point consensus, ASEAN has drawn on every available channel and partner to reduce violence and ease the humanitarian crisis. But lasting peace cannot be imposed. It must be Myanmar-owned and Myanmar-led. Only then will the reconciliation endure. The relative peace and prosperity that ASEAN has enjoyed for nearly 6 decades are not self-sustaining. They must be renewed through cooperation and strengthened by shared purpose. That is why ASEAN is deepening economic linkages, widening trade, and enhancing competitiveness. The upgrade of the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement to be launched at this summit will create a more seamless regional market, unlocking scale, efficiency, and opportunity for our businesses and workers alike. We are also advancing the ASEAN Power Grid. The new APG financing facility will help bridge funding gaps and accelerate our transition towards cleaner, more secure energy. In parallel, we are moving forward on the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework and the regional electric vehicle ecosystem, building the foundations of sustainable industry and green growth. With ASEAN's digital economy expected to double to $2 trillion by 2030, we have agreed to fast-track the ASEAN Digital Economic Framework Agreement by 2026. And to ensure technology remains our servant, not our master, we will establish the ASEAN AI Safety Network, AI Safe, to embed ethics, safety, and sound governance in the use of artificial intelligence. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, rising protectionism and shifting supply chains remind us that resilience depends on adaptability. ASEAN must not stand still. We must have the courage to forge new partnership and the foresight to deepen existing ones. In that spirit, we hosted the second ASEAN GCC and the ASEAN GCC China Summits earlier this year. Tomorrow, we convene the 5th RCEP Leaders Summit, advancing the world's largest free trade area toward its full potential. We also welcome again Brazil and South Africa, guests of the chair, to the 20th East Asia Summit, an important step in widening ASEAN's engagement with the BRICS and the G20 and strengthening our bridge to the global south. The future of ASEAN will not be written by circumstance. It will be written by choice, by the choices we make today. On that note, Your Majesty, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor on behalf of the peoples of Malaysia to declare open the 47th ASEAN Summit and related summits. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato' Sri. May we request that you kindly step forward to the center of the stage for the next part of our program.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the ASEAN Prize Award ceremony.
The ASEAN Prize is the region's premier award honoring outstanding individuals or organizations for their inspiring contributions to building a stronger ASEAN community.
This award, initiated by the ASEAN member states, is supported by Temasek Foundation of Singapore and Yayasan Hasanah of Malaysia. We now invite His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Horn, Secretary General of ASEAN, to accompany Dato' Sri on stage for the ASEAN Prize Award ceremony. Distinguished guests, we are pleased to announce the winner of this year's ASEAN Prize is Union of Youth Federations of Cambodia. Congratulations!
May I now invite Her Excellency Dam Darini, Vice President of the Union of Youth Federations of Cambodia, to head on stage to receive the ASEAN Prize Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, founded in 1978, the Union of Youth Federations of Cambodia is the nation's largest youth organization with over 300,000 members dedicated to volunteerism and national development.
Today, UYFC continues to promote cultural pride, ASEAN solidarity, and global friendship, nurturing a new generation devoted to unity and service to their nation.
Once again, a big round of applause. Congratulations to the Union of Youth Federations, Cambodia.
Thank you, Excellency Hun Mani and Excellency Secretary General of ASEAN. You may kindly return to your seats. Dato' Sri, once again, you are requested to remain on stage for our next event.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now wish to invite all ASEAN leaders and the Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste to proceed on stage for the signing ceremony of the Declaration on the Admission of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste into the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN.
Your Majesty, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the signing ceremony will begin with the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Chair of ASEAN.
Next, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Philippines.
His Majesty, the Sultan of Brunei Darussalam.
His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia.
His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Indonesia.
His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Laos, People's Democratic Republic.
His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Singapore.
His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand.
His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam.
His Excellency, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Republic of the Union of Myanmar.
And His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste.
With the spirit of solidarity in the air, thank you, Your Majesty and Your Excellencies. We now invite all our ASEAN leaders to please move forward to the center of the stage for a photo opportunity. We are humbled and proud to be a part of history in the making. Members of the media, this is your first photo moment. And 3, 2, 1. Next is the customary handshake, the ASEAN way, please. Right hand over left. For a second photo moment, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Your Excellencies. May I now invite all ASEAN leaders and Permanent Secretary to take 3 steps forward to the center of the stage.
Next, distinguished guests, may I now invite all guests of the chair on the stage for a photo opportunity. Please welcome the President of the Federative Republic of Brazil,
the President of the European Council,
the President of Republic of South Africa,
the Prime Minister of Canada,
the President of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste,
and last but not least, the United Nations Secretary General. And for this official photo, we shall do it the ASEAN way. Right hand over left in solidarity. Ladies and gentlemen, let there be peace and harmony. A big round of applause. Your photo moment in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Excellencies. You may kindly return to your seats. And once again, may I now invite the Prime Minister of Malaysia, as well as the President and the Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste to remain on stage.
Once again, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, as well as the President and the Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste on the stage. An emotional moment, ladies and gentlemen. We would now like to invite His Excellency Dr. Kao Kim Hoorn, Secretary General of ASEAN, to once again proceed to the stage to receive the signed declaration from the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Next, we would like to invite the Honorable Prime Minister to hand over the signed declaration to the Secretary General of ASEAN.
A big round of applause. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. It is time to officially place the Timor-Leste flag onto the stage, joining the other flags of ASEAN member states.
Distinguished guests, it is now official. Timor-Leste is the 11th member of ASEAN.
To the Honorable Prime Minister, please remain on stage. Meanwhile, Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia and Your Excellencies, you may return to your seats. Our Honorable Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, please remain on stage. Kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri Malaysia, to the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, and to Your Excellency, we'd like to invite you back to your seat.
Distinguished guests, this is truly a milestone moment for the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste. And on that note, it is now our honor to welcome the Honorable Kairala Xanana Gusmão, Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, to deliver his remarks as the 11th member of ASEAN.
Your Majesty, Your Excellencies, Chair of ASEAN, Excellencies, ASEAN leaders, Excellency the President of the Republic of Timor-Leste, Excellency Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellency President of the European Union, Excellency President of Brazil, Excellency the President of Republic South Africa, Excellency guests of the Chair, National Parliament, the members of the National Parliament of Timor-Leste here, Excellency Secretary General of ASEAN, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Today, history is made. Timor-Leste has been admitted as the 11th member state of ASEAN. For the people of Timor-Leste, this is not only a dream realized, but a powerful affirmation of our journey, one marked by resilience, determination, and hope. For ASEAN, it is the continuation of a vision, a truly united family of nations, bound together by shared values, common aspirations, and collective destiny. On behalf of the government and people of Timor-Leste, I extend our deepest gratitude to all ASEAN member states, to the ASEAN Chair, the ASEAN Secretariat, and our dialogue partners. Your trust, encouragement, and unwavering solidarity have made this historic day possible. Our path to membership has been long and purposeful. Since we applied in 2011, we have prepared our institutions, reformed our policies, and strengthened our readiness, guided by the wisdom, support, and patience of ASEAN and its partners. Our accession is a testament to the spirit of our people, a young democracy born from struggle, now embracing a new era of collaboration and growth within one of the world's most dynamic regions. Today, ASEAN reaffirms its vitality, and its inclusivity. Timor-Leste joins with humility and with pride, fully embracing the core values of ASEAN: mutual respect, peaceful cooperation, unity in diversity, and regional solidarity. We see ASEAN membership as both as natural affiliation, rooted in our culture and geography, and a strategic imperative for our nation's future. Timor-Leste enters ASEAN with full commitment to its charter, ready to be a constructive, peaceful, and devoted member. We pledge to work with all member states to keep our region peaceful, open, and prosperous, and to be part of efforts to build resilience, deepen unity, and ensure that no one is left behind. For Timor-Leste, this new beginning brings immense opportunities in trade, investment, education, and the digital economy. We are ready to learn, to innovate, and to uphold good governance, strengthening our institutions as we work together toward sustainable development. This is not the end of a journey. This is the beginning of an inspiring new chapter. Together, we will advance the ASEAN Community Vision 2045, a peaceful, prosperous, resilient, and people-centered ASEAN, with Timor-Leste as an active contributor. On this day of pride and celebration, I speak not only as a Prime Minister on behalf of the President of the Republic of Timor-Leste and all Timorese people, but now as a fellow member of ASEAN family. Thank you very, very much.
And thank you, Honorable Prime Minister of Timor-Leste, for those insightful remarks. Please, we'd like to invite you back to your seat.
Once again, congratulations, the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, for their inclusion into ASEAN today.
Timor-Leste, welcome to the ASEAN family. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now so pleased to present a performance by Malaysia's renowned sape performer, Miss Alena Murang.
ASEAN-United States Summit. Without further ado, may I invite the Honourable Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to proceed with the 13th ASEAN-United States Summit.
And to the 13th ASEAN-United States Summit, we say here, welcome, Selamat Datang. Grounded in our shared aspirations for peace and prosperity, ASEAN-United States relations have deepened into a comprehensive strategic partnership. The vibrant, tremendous economies of the United States and Southeast Asia has the potential to create a golden age for all our nations. Two-way trade reached a record of $453 billion last year, supporting jobs and businesses across the United States and ASEAN. And today, we'll make the promise of our relationship ever greater. We'll adopt ASEAN-US Joint Vision Statement to promote a stronger, safer, and more prosperous ASEAN and America. This reflects our will and commitment to turn cooperation into concrete outcomes with tangible benefits for ASEAN and the United States. Your Majesty, Mr. President, Excellencies, we have just witnessed the signing of the Kuala Lumpur Accords between Cambodia and Thailand. This is undoubtedly an achievement that reflects the strong political will of both countries, leaders and people. Mr. President, ASEAN holds in high regard your vital role in facilitating this agreement. On Gaza, we welcome your comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict. It has given the world a glimmer of hope that even in the most intractable conflicts, diplomacy and determination can prevail. And we trust that with your leadership, Mr. President, we'll achieve a just and durable peace. Thank you. And now, Mr. President, I invite you to deliver your opening remarks.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. So many friends in this room and so many new friends. I want to thank Prime Minister Anwar for hosting us, spectacular man, and for organizing this year's ASEAN Summit here in beautiful Kuala Lumpur. As you know, this has been an incredibly successful day for Malaysia. Great honor to be here. I promised I'd be here when the Prime Minister helped us so beautifully with our peace treaty among two very friendly countries, I think we can say right now. And here I am, and it's really something to see what you've done for the United States and for all nations across this magnificent region. They're all watching and they're seeing what's taking place. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Today, the Prime Minister and I signed a major trade deal between the United States and Malaysia, and together we took part in the signing of a historic peace agreement ending the hostilities between Cambodia and Thailand. We're calling it the Kuala Lumpur Peace Accords. I once again want to congratulate Prime Minister Hun Manet of Cambodia and Prime Minister Anut of Thailand, who had to return home because of the Queen's passing. This magnificent woman, known all over the world and respected by everybody. But this was a great achievement that she was very proud of. I also want to thank the other ASEAN countries for agreeing to send observers, and in most cases, your heads of state, because I don't see too many observers. I only see heads of state to help ensure a lasting settlement. Today's signing represents just one of 8 conflicts that we've ended in 8 months of the Trump presidency. I'm very honored to have done it. We saved millions of lives. That also includes the end of the war in Gaza. We've signed a very strong agreement. We have 59 countries involved, and we have numerous of them right here at this table. Like, as an example, Indonesia, my new friend. Thank you very much for helping. We appreciate it. I want to thank Malaysia and Brunei as well as my friend, President Prabowo of Indonesia, for their incredible support of these efforts to secure the new day for the Middle East. It really is a new day. There's never been a period of time like this. The Middle East will have peace after 3,000 years. This is a very strong peace. It's going to be an everlasting peace. It really is a true pleasure to be back with all of you in Southeast Asia, home of some of America's most important allies and countries and partners. In the entire world, they look up to you. I'm here on a mission of friendship and goodwill, and to deepen our ties of commerce, to strengthen our common security, and to really promote strongly stability, prosperity, and peace for all of the countries in this room and long beyond this room. That's why I'm delighted that in addition to the agreement with Malaysia this week, we're also signing or nearing completion on trade deals with many other Indo-Pacific partners, from Cambodia to Japan to South Korea. We're delighted to forge richer partnerships on energy technology, artificial intelligence, critical minerals, and other industries. The United States is having its golden age. Last year, we were a country that was doing very poorly under a different semi-leadership. I don't even call it a leadership. But this year, we're doing numbers that nobody ever thought it was possible for any country to do. We'll be, at the end of my first year, over $20 trillion worth of investment into the United States. There's no country anywhere that's ever done anything close to that. The United States last year, for the 4 years it was announced, did less than $1 trillion, and we're going to be doing over 20. That's quite a difference. I'd like to just say the United States is for you. It's committed to a free and open and thriving Indo-Pacific. My message to the nations of Southeast Asia is that the United States is with you 100%, and we intend to be a strong partner and friend for many generations to come. 1 year ago, we were in a different position, but now we're in the best position we've ever been. And I really do. I say it's the golden age of America, it's the golden age of the United States. Together we'll create incredible prosperity for the nations on both sides of the Pacific Ocean and to seize new opportunities for all of our people. It's really been an amazing experience. I've been here for a day, but it's been an amazing experience to see some of the things that you've done. And the Prime Minister made sure I saw everything, every single thing. When I said, well, that's okay, maybe I'll take it easy for a little while, I said, no, I have other things to show you. We even rode in the car together, and he's something. To this region date back to early days of our republic, when fearless Americans voyaged across the Pacific to establish outposts of trade and diplomacy here in Asia. Those bonds forged so long ago continue to strengthen and grow to this day, including here in Kuala Lumpur. I'm looking forward to speaking with many of you today and also at APEC in South Korea later this week, where we're heading. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, and thank you to everyone in this room. You are spectacular leaders. You are incredible people. Your energy, your genius, everything you do. And I say it truly, everything you touch turns to gold. And you can be very proud of it. Other parts of the world are not like this. You're very special people, and it's a very, very special place. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the media. We kindly
Thank you. We'll proceed with our plenary session. And the order of business, as you know, for ASEAN-United States dialogue relations, we will also deliver the common statement, followed by Cambodia's national statement. Excellency Hun Manet, Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honorable Chair, Honorable President.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Domo arigato. Kamsahamnida. Terima kasih. Just to get them to understand. Okay, terima kasih. Thank you. We have to start.
Having the interests aligned, I'll finish on this, which is I found it interesting coming into ASEAN this morning. As I walked in, the banners, the neon banners were with the themes of ASEAN this year, which is inclusivity and sustainability. So it's growth with inclusivity and sustainability. It's very recognizable for Canada and our approach. And that's the type of partnership that will help us realize that diversification.
And what is it Canada's going to bring to ASEAN?
Again, I would start with the values around inclusivity, sustainability, a sense of solidarity, so you're building in true partnership. But then we look to the economic and where the complementarities are. So apart from that trading network that I just referenced, we're an energy superpower, unabashedly energy superpower. We have the third largest reserves of oil. We have the fourth largest reserves of LNG. We've just started our first LNG shipments, helped by Malaysia, Petronas, in the last 6 months. We will be up to 50 million tons annually of LNG by the end of this decade. We'll double that by 2040. So this is very large scale. At the same time that we're that, we have an 85% clean grid back at home. We're going to increase that by 50% over the course of the next decade, including with utility scale nuclear and SMRs. We just launched the process for the first commercial SMR in Canada, so technology that's relevant here, grid optimization, other technology. So energy superpower, one aspect. You move up the chain, we are have one of the largest reserves of critical minerals. We are the largest center of mining finance in the world. So we have the resources, we have the mining finance, and we have the standards around sustainable development. It's a natural partnership with many of the countries in ASEAN who have their own reserves and their own potential. And the world has figured out what many of us knew. We talked about, I think you and I even in the past, about the need for diversification. You extend that up or on into positions in AI, in quantum, in cyber, which are world-leading, twinned with our research universities, and layer onto that in a moment of catch-up, we are quadrupling our defense spending between now and the end of this decade. Much of that will be in areas that I just listed in AI and cyber. Again, natural partnerships that work with the digital economies that are being built out here. I could go on. I will go on. I'm conscious you probably have other questions, but there's quite a range. The point is there's quite a range of hard and soft expertise and financial expertise. I'll list one final one, which is that our pension funds are amongst the largest and most sophisticated infrastructure investors in the world, and they have initial partnerships in the region, but alongside the sovereign wealth capabilities in the region, we see opportunity that's there, all of which, maybe let me make one final point if I could, which is that's all outbound, if you will. It's Canada potentially exporting partnerships to ASEAN investing here. The flip side is the opportunity in Canada, and one of the lessons we take from the big change in the world that's happened over the course of the last few years, intensified in the last year, is that we need to build at home, and we need to build at scale at home. And the orders of magnitude are, in the $500 billion up of investment domestically in Canada in many of the areas that I think would many of the investors and businesses here would find attractive.
Fantastic. So energy, nuclear modular reactors, defense, investment, lots on offer for ASEAN. Just picking up on your last point about investing at home, folks here in ASEAN have been speaking over the last day and a half about the need to reduce barriers within ASEAN, to improve trade within ASEAN. In the European Union, Draghi letter, etc., have talked a lot about reducing barriers within the European Union, and you've spoken quite a lot about the need to do this in Canada, so that there's less barriers between the provinces. What makes that hard? Like, what are the things you need to do to make that happen? And how could, because I think both in Europe and in ASEAN, countries need to learn this, but...
Well, and let's put this in context. The worst case global trade war scenario, many of which various organizations were running earlier this year, the IMF and others, we calculated, well, others calculated for us, that just reducing domestic barriers in Canada alone would have a bigger economic payback than would be taken away by the worst case scenario. So that's just reduction of barriers. I was, I don't think she'll mind me quoting this, well, I'll do it Chatham House rules. I was a lead of a large international financial institution here in Kuala Lumpur may have said earlier today in a closed-door session that their calculations of removing the barriers within ASEAN, the main barriers, I think even on just goods trade, was about 4.5% of GDP. Of ASEAN GDP. Those are big, big numbers. So that's more than a percentage point of global GDP if you just do the multiplier on that. So these are large. Now, how do you do it? In Canada, we have done it at the federal level. That was one of the things we did within the first few weeks of getting into office, is we passed a law which removed all the federal barriers. Now we need to do the hard part, which is between the various provinces. And I guess the point is that there are two models to do this. One is the European one, where you move the responsibility up and you have a harmonization across the whole level, the whole grouping. And the other is you have some form of mutual recognition, substituted compliance. I will acknowledge that your rules are roughly comparable to mine, so you don't have to meet both of those standards. It's not really my place, but I would suggest that it's far more likely that it's that type of approach that would work in ASEAN, given there's not the element of there's no element nor prospect of a political union. So it has to be that type of approach.
But in Canada, though, those barriers between provinces that still exist, I mean, I remember you saying a few years ago that a crisis permits government to move fast and in a coordinated way. Is this a crisis in Canada? Is it going to help you reduce the barriers between provinces?
Yes, it's a crisis because it's a fundamental change in many of the operating, I was going to say assumptions, but the operating rules of the system. I mean, the reliance on the open global trading system, a reliance and an expectation of further integration, particularly in North America. I mean, that's not going to happen. That doesn't mean there isn't still going to be a fair bit of free trade in North America and cross-investment, but this sort of relentless process of greater integration has reversed. That's a big change. And when you have a big change like that and you had your economy oriented towards that, which ours was, some of your strengths become vulnerabilities, and you have to do big things. And so one of the lessons, we've talked about this, many in the room have lived it, I've certainly, by luck, I would like to say, not because of cause, I didn't cause the crises I've been in, but my experience of being in them is in a crisis you have to be bold, you have to act big. Uncertainty weighs down activity, and unless you're leading from the center, whether you're a central bank with respect to supporting financial institutions or monetary policy, or you're a government in terms of charting a new course, you need to be bold. And that's why we're looking for scale in terms of diversification of our exports. That's why our budget, which is coming out in 2 weeks' time, is going to have what we call generational investment in Canada on an order of magnitude that really changes the scale of the economy, the ambition of the economy. Of course, it will also, just by its very fact, provide GDP and growth and jobs for Canadians. But as important as that is, more important is going to be a reorientation of the country, and very much an outward-looking orientation that I think is very complementary to ASEAN.
One of the really hard things for the countries in this region is that although in theory they would be able to negotiate, for example, with the United States much more strongly if they held together, the new US approach is very much, we'll only negotiate with countries one by one. How can countries in the rest of the world who want to diversify and sustain cooperation, how can they balance the need to line up and do one-by-one deals with the US administration with the need to actually forge relations in their own region with other regions? I mean, it feels like, you know, you've been a bit of an example for European leaders in how to do that, how to sit calmly and negotiate in the White House, but at the same time, you're here, you're pursuing those other kinds of deals. But I just wondered, what's your observation on this for countries in ASEAN who are being pushed to do the one-to-one deal, but who actually need to think about their other trade partners?
Well, I think there's a couple of things, and with respect to the European Union, of course, President Costa is here as well, also participated as a partner of ASEAN in the meetings this morning and through tomorrow. And that'll bring me to a point I'll make in a second. I think a few general points about the situation with respect to the United States. The United States has a new trade policy. It applies to every country, every jurisdiction in the world. We understand that and we respect that. It is a major shift, and the way we're framing it is it's a rupture, not a transition. This is a very big change, almost overnight, and therefore it's difficult to deal with. It can be difficult to deal with, but everybody's dealing with it. That's the first. The second is, if your economy is highly integrated, or certain sectors are highly integrated with the United States, revealed preference, to use a fancy term, is that you will pay a price to keeping access to that market, either in the form of tariffs, changes to some domestic policies, commitments for investment. Different countries have done various versions of that. What you should try to avoid doing, though, is tying your hands about what you can do with other jurisdictions. Because there are a lot more countries by GDP that are willing and keen to continue to have relatively open trade, certainly to have rules-based trade, to respect rules-based trades, to have, and that is happening in parallel to these sharper changes. So you get a sharp change in the relationship with the U.S., as the President has said, and I understand this and respect it. He said it, me sitting next to him, we are going to charge countries for access to the U.S. It's like access to a good country club, I think he might have said, or Costco. To put it the other way, I think he thinks more on country club than Costco. We understand it. It is the premium market. It's the most dynamic economy. You decide what you're willing to pay, but at the same time, you want to be in other clubs. You want to be at other tables. You want to be building that out. And I said I would make a point about the European Union. I think it's quite relevant for ASEAN, or if I may broaden it a bit more towards CPTPP. Some members are part of that. These are two large trading blocs with not identical, but complementary approaches to trade. And there is an opportunity. It's a point I've made. It's a point some others in CPTPP have made. There is a possibility of bringing those closer together, having at a minimum a docking between the two blocks or broader arrangements that there. And that's how you start to rebuild a broader global trading system. You're approaching more than a third of global trade there, potentially 40%, depending on how you do it. Provided you have you've retained that flexibility in order to do that. And as things stand right now, most countries have.
So is this a sort of short-term, medium-term, long-term thing?
And in conjunction with the 22nd ASEAN-India Summit, obviously it will reach the South and Southeast Asia, balancing the Indo-Pacific and security cooperation. And now the arrival of His Majesty, Sultan of Brunei Darussalam. As the leaders and delegates make their way into the hall, it will take this moment to warmly greet and extend the heartfelt welcome. This is indeed a very special opportunity to see ASEAN leaders and dialogue partners together once again, united in friendship and shared purpose. Each handshake, each smile exchange this evening reflects the trust and mutual respect that have long defined the ASEAN spirit. And now the arrival of the Honorable Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. We can see now the Honorable Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim is already in the hall, and as the host nation of this year's ASEAN-India Summit, Malaysia once again stands at the heart of regional diplomacy, welcoming leaders and delegates to this very important platform of cooperation and shared aspiration. The Prime Minister of Malaysia will co-chair today's 22nd ASEAN-India Summit alongside the Prime Minister of India, continuing discussion on strengthening connectivity, advancing trade, and promoting peace across the region. His Majesty, Sultan of Brunei Darussalam. As one of the ASEAN's longest-serving leaders, Majesty Sultan of Brunei Darussalam, with wisdom, experience, and steady leadership, continue to inspire the region.
Jaishankar Saab, is Prime Minister Modi online soon? Is he?
Anytime soon?
We're waiting clearance with
the session shall commence.
Oh yes. Namaskar. Now, can I call the meeting to order? Thank you very much. And we are very pleased today, on behalf of ASEAN leaders, to continue our deliberations and collaboration with India. And we have ASEAN-India Plan of Action 2030. We want to conclude the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement, ATIGA, by this year. So there has been some real progress. And India, I mean, I must say for not only for Malaysia, Malaysia, of course, there have been always these special relations with India, partly because we have a large number of ethnic Indians in Malaysia, but also in terms of trade, investments, collaboration, universities with India. That is why I'm particularly delighted to have Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who's a friend of ASEAN and me personally. And I think, thank you very much. Welcome to this ASEAN meeting. And we have had a series of meetings today. And ASEAN-India dialogue relations for us remain a force for stability, for mutual prosperity, and with your strides in economic advancement in various fields, I'm sure you will be beneficial both to India and ASEAN. It is my honor, therefore, to invite my respected Prime Minister, Perdana Menteri of India, Narendra Modi, to deliver his opening remarks. Please.
Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister and my friend Anwar Ibrahim, Your Majesty, Excellencies, Namaskar. It is a great pleasure for me to be with my ASEAN family once again. I am very pleased to be with all of you. I convey my heartiest congratulations to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim for his successful chairmanship of ASEAN. I thank President Marcos of the Philippines for ably playing the role of country coordinator for India. And I welcome Timor-Leste as a new member of ASEAN. I express on behalf of all Indians, I express my deepest condolences to the royal family and to the people of Thailand on the demise of Queen Mother. Friends, ASEAN and India together represent about 1/4 of the global population. We don't just share geography. We are also bound together by deep historic ties and shared values. We are fellow travelers from the global south. Our partnership encompasses not just trade, but culture as well. ASEAN is a key pillar of India's Act East policy. India has always supported ASEAN centrality and ASEAN's outlook on the Indo-Pacific. Even in this period of uncertainty, there has been steady progress in the India-ASEAN Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Our robust partnership is emerging as a cornerstone for global stability and development. Friends, the theme of this year's ASEAN Summit is inclusivity and sustainability. And this theme is clearly reflected in our collaborative efforts, whether it is digital inclusion or ensuring food security and resilient supply chains in today's complex global landscape. India fully supports these priorities and is committed to moving forward together in this direction. Friends, India has firmly stood together with its ASEAN friends during every catastrophe. Our cooperation is increasing at a fast pace in areas such as HADR, maritime security, and blue economy. We are therefore declaring the year 2026 as the ASEAN-India Year of Maritime Cooperation. At the same time, we are also actively working to enhance our mutual cooperation in areas such as education, tourism, science and technology, health, green energy, and cyber security. We will continue to work together to nurture our shared cultural heritage and to strengthen our people-to-people ties. Friends, the 21st century is our century. It is the century of India and ASEAN. I am confident that the ASEAN Community Vision 2045 and our goal for a developed India by 2047, that is Viksit Bharat 2047, will build a bright future for all mankind. India is committed to working shoulder to shoulder with all of you to achieve these goals. Thank you very much.
Namaskar, Prime Minister Modi ji, for the remarks, and we will proceed and on the review of ASEAN-India cooperation and its future direction. That is in document number 2, and then if Excellencies want to follow, there be, of course, other matters. These have been circulated earlier. We will begin because by the President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines, because he is the country coordinator for ASEAN-India dialogue relations. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your Excellency, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Your Majesty, Excellencies. Last August, I had the privilege of visiting India at the invitation of Prime Minister Modi. And during my visit to the world's largest democracy, I witnessed firsthand that as nations of the Global South, we share common challenges and that deeper cooperation amongst us is essential. As Southeast Asia's next-door neighbor, which is set to become the world's 4th largest economy, India has a lot to offer to ASEAN as a region. As a committed dialogue partner that recognizes ASEAN centrality through its Act East policy, which stresses ASEAN as a core pillar of its engagement, we may also turn our gaze to India for solutions to our common concerns. Foremost, as a maritime and archipelagic nation, I wish to highlight the great importance of the rule of law in our oceans. Both ASEAN and India should see peaceful settlement of disputes and maritime cooperation as essential, as our seas contribute to the peace and prosperity of the entire Indo-Pacific region. In this regard, I thank Prime Minister Modi for India's consistent support for international law and the rule of law in our ocean.
Strong focus on inclusivity,
The arrival of
meaningful
Anwar Ibrahim,
reform.
Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, the Honourable Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Well, Malaysia's commitment to deepening ASEAN integration has been evident through its proactive support. A historic step for the ASEAN family, Malaysia has championed a forward-looking agenda that prioritizes economic resilience, digital innovation and sustainable development, while reinforcing the ASEAN's unity amid the evolving global challenges. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. As the chair, Malaysia will continue to guide ASEAN with wisdom and dedication, fostering stronger partnerships and building a community that is more responsive, cohesive, and future-ready. We warmly welcome Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim to the significant gathering as more conversations to meetings could be established. Now, this high-level gatherings to conversation is not only symbolic of ASEAN's unity itself, but it is a strong demonstration of shared leadership in shaping the region's response to evolving global challenges itself, be it in terms of climate change, to digital transformation, economic resilience. The security cooperation actually remain a key pillar. Renewed commitments to address transnational threats and promote peace in this region. That the summit further enhance ASEAN's participation and partnerships with global players. It reinforces the strategic position on the world stage. This moment would highlight ASEAN's continued commitment to unity in diversity, bringing together member states, institutions, and partners under a common regional vision. Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare the meeting to begin, we'll take this time to thank all of our partners from line ministers to research bodies, development agencies to sectoral leaders and medias who have worked alongside ASEAN to bring these initiatives to life. Today is not an endpoint, but it is a continuation of our journey together, one that places sustainability and inclusivity at its heart. Now, across the past few days, meetings have taken place behind the scenes, with senior officials deliberating over policy alignment to economic strategies and inclusive governance. And what we see is the visible outcome of those tireless efforts, from strengthening cross-border collaboration to supporting future-proof economies. Today's will actually embody the next chapter of ASEAN cooperation.